They're not able to come.
Oh, they called you?
Sarah.
What?
They called Sarah.
Oh, they called Sarah?
Yeah, she left me a message, or she texted me and said she was going to be there.
That's my schedule.
I assume she just got a hold of you as well.
No. Well, I wouldn't have been able to do anything, but I just get nervous when I don't see somebody, it's like.
Me too. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I got a message from Sarah that they're not able to come. Yeah, high likelihood.
Okay, well.
Thank you for trying. Oh, nice. Wonderful.
But when you see that, if I didn't have anybody at the night, I would go there.
No problem.
Gabriel, could you add my list, because they're not on there. Yes, they are. I know what happened, but I got that little card in the mail, and so it was going to be tonight, so must have missed it. No worries. Perfect. I hold it, or? Oh, okay. Okay, I'll do that.
Oh, we have 1 minute. I didn't hear what you said, but I'm sure that it was snide. See, I was right. Yeah, I know, back at you. That wasn't me. Ready when you are. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai, page 12. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Naria letzor yishenu, nekadma fanav l'todah. Naria letzor yishenu, izmirot naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. I can hear that some of you have shakers, but not all of you, I don't think. So if you need a shaker, they're all in the back in one bag. We don't yet have a basket. And you're welcome to use them. And you're welcome to sing really, really loud into your masks, because the louder you are, the better I sound. We are going to continue in our Sidurim on page 2 with lighting our Shabbat candles as Jean and Sander Gelfand come and kindle our lights for us.
Candles first, go ahead. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahatnu ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen. Read the English? Okay.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvah, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. Did a great job. But the air conditioning had other plans. As we welcome Shabbat, the Psalms that you can find on pages 12 through 19 are Psalms that relate each one to a day of the week. And I don't know about you, but this week made me very ready for Shabbat. So what I'd like you to do is take a moment and close your eyes. And if you're at home, close your eyes and turn up your volume. And think back through your week. Just like the Psalms on these pages represent a particular day of the week, you remember the things that you did each day. Perhaps you remember what you did on Sunday. Maybe you went for a drive, walked on the beach, went to see family or friends. Maybe you cleaned your house. Think about Sunday, whatever you did on Sunday. Take a deep breath and let Sunday go. Think back to Monday, first day of the work week, first day of the school week. Think back to emails that you had been delaying returning. Think to phone calls you might have returned. Remember what you did on Monday, and then take a deep breath and let Monday go. Think about Tuesday. Perhaps you had a wonderful meal or were stressed out cooking in the kitchen. Perhaps you saw someone you hadn't seen in a long time, or met with the same person you meet every Tuesday. Whatever it is that happened to you on Tuesday, we take a deep breath and let Tuesday go. Wednesday, the middle of the week, we're halfway through, over the hump. As we started seeing the light on Wednesday for the end of the work week, started thinking about what we were going to do on the weekend, spoke to a wonderful friend or made plans with a business colleague. Think back to Wednesday, take a deep breath, and let Wednesday go. Think back to Thursday, to yesterday. Maybe it was a relaxing day. Maybe you were working through a honey-do list or an I-do list, depending on who writes the rules in your house. Maybe you ran errands or read a book. Think back to Thursday, take a deep breath, and let Thursday go. Think back all the way to Friday. today, this morning. Sometimes it's the hardest day to remember. As we prepare for the weekend, prepare for Shabbat, maybe you made a challah. Maybe you had someone deliver one of their own chalot. Maybe you prepared a meal, saw some friends, got ready to come here, or got ready to watch us online. Whatever you did on Friday, take a deep breath and let Friday go. Saturday, Shabbat. As the sun sets, it becomes Saturday on the Jewish calendar. And it is said that God gives us an extra soul, an extra neshama for Shabbat so that we can enjoy it twice as much, so that we can meditate twice as hard, so that we can fulfill ourselves twice as much with the rest and the beauty and the joy that is Shabbat. So for Shabbat, we'll take 2 breaths, one neshima amukah, deep breath to welcome in that extra soul. And as we prepare to take a second breath, we also prepare to turn to page 20 and sing Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor bezachor betikbor echad, ishmianu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet ve'litchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. We rise and face the doors. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uvtohola, toch emuneh am segula, boi chala, boi chala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Page 28, we continue with Baruch. Adonai Amevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvidvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Everlasting love you taught your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated. Let's read together in English on page 36. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. That there is a better place, a promised land. That the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. That there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching and dancing together, and singing. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. on the most important rabbinic platform that I'm aware of in 2021, the CCAR page on Facebook, a discussion was had this week about standing and how do you tell people to stand, how do you tell people to rise, and the question came about rise if you are able. And I don't know if you know me well enough to know that steam was coming out of my ears when I saw that. Because here we know that you need to be able to stand, sure. And if you are uncomfortable standing, if you are in pain standing, it's not that it's okay to remain seated, it is you should not stand. But rising, we do with our hearts, with our minds, and so there's no if you are able, because not everyone is able to stand, but we can all rise. So we rise for the Amidah, page 46 and following.
Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Elohei Bilcha, Elohei Zilpah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei hakol, v'zocher chasdei avot v'imahot, u'mevi geula livnei bneihem, leman shemo v'ahava, melech ozer Moshiach u'magin. Baruch atah Adonai, magin Avraham v'ezrat Sarah, atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol ata rav lahoshia, morid hatal, mechalkel chaim bechesed, mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim verofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, michamocha b'geburot, umidam melach, melech memit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom, yehalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
We continue on our own, either using the words on the following pages or whichever words the heart prompts.
chesed ibaneh. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadai, dai. You can yadai. Olam chesed ibaneh. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadai, dai. Olam chesed ibaneh. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadai, dai. Olam chesed ibaneh. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadai, dai. Yadadai like you mean it. I will build this world from love. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadai, dai. You sound great. And you must build this world from love. Yadadai, dai, dai, da-da-dai, dai. And if we build this world from love, yadadai, dai, dai, yadadai, dai. And God will build this world from love. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadai, dai. Olam chesed ibaneh. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadai, dai. You fill my cup when you sing. Olam chesed ibaneh. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadai, dai. So beautiful, everybody. Thank you for that. We are going to continue with Seder Kriyat HaTorah, our service for reading the Torah, page 246. Page 246, please rise. Way back in the first century, Hillel, Rabbi Hillel of Hillel and Shammai fame, was asked to distill all of Judaism into one sentence. He was actually challenged by a non-believer to stand on one foot and teach him everything there is in the Torah. A brilliant rabbi and scholar, Hillel thought about mitzvot, theology, customs, history, culture, and he came up with a famous teaching that has become a foundational principle of Judaism and, in its positive form, a foundational principle of most ethical monotheism. What is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor. Or as it is called the golden rule, do unto others as you would have done to yourself. But we had it first, but in the negative. This short statement seems obvious. What is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor. Unlike so many other Jewish opinions, Hillel's dictum is generally agreed upon by most of us, regardless of Jewish denomination, observance, or age. In fact, it may be the only Jewish mandate we all agree on. Of course, while we agree with the general statement, we might not all apply it the same way when it comes to the specific practical situations. What is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor. Well, who qualifies as a neighbor? Do they have to actually live in our apartment building or next door to our house? Is someone a neighbor if they're outside our circle of family and friends? Do they have to be Jewish? Is a neighbor someone we dislike? Is it someone who's hurt or offended us? Is a neighbor someone whose social media posts make us boil with anger at their patent ignorance? I wrote this before we talked. Are those kinds of people considered neighbors? In this week's Torah portion, Ki Teitzei, Moses seems to foresee Hillel's teaching. While speaking to the Israelite people, he tells them, "You shall not hate an Egyptian because you were a stranger in their land." Despite everything that happened to us in the land of Egypt, we are commanded to show empathy to an Egyptian, even though the Egyptians abhorred us. We're commanded to do otherwise. This is the sine qua non, the prime demonstration of Hillel's dictum. You'll also hear in a moment when we read Torah that the beginning of Deuteronomy 22 tells us to take good care of our neighbor's property if we find it and cannot find our neighbor. They go a step further, though. They refer to our neighbor as our brother. I would say our sibling or our brother or sister. But I can't change the text. This rule is followed by a litany of things we do to protect the life and the property of anyone who lives near us, who might come onto our property, who might need help on the road, etc., etc., etc. We are to be diligent. In fact, the command is, "Thou shalt not remain indifferent." We have to pay attention. With the month of Elul on our calendars and with its teachings in our hearts, I want to share the second half of Hillel's quotation. I left part of it out when I cited him earlier. When asked to distill Judaism into one statement while standing on one foot, Hillel said, "What is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor. That is the whole Torah. Now go and study it." Too often we only quote the first part of his words. The rest of it, however, is just as, if not more important. That is the whole Torah. Now go and study it. Maybe it would be even more important if it was, now let's go study it. It's important because if we only concentrate on the first part of the statement, we let ourselves off the hook far too easily. We won't necessarily do the difficult work of teshuvah, confronting the issues that surround us within our own forgiveness, empathy, and reconciliation. The devil may be in the details, but God is in the details too. It is within the details of the Torah that Hillel's words become the important challenge that they are. It is only when we go and study that we realize what these days of Elul are all about. They're meant for us to mature, to learn, to grow,
and to treat others and ourselves better. So on this 13th day of Elul, as the sun sets, almost halfway through the month of focus and trying to fix ourselves, let us concentrate on the full spectrum of the meaning that stems from Hillel's words. What is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor. The rest is commentary. Now let's go study. Can you hear that? We're going to, as I said already, read from Deuteronomy chapter 22. If you want to follow along in your Plough commentary, it's on page 1485. Page 1485 at the beginning, in Hebrew or English, it's the first words on the page. So Deuteronomy 22, starting with verse 1, 1485. For the Aliyah, we're going to invite Susan Slonim. Ta'amod, Zelek bat Shoshana lalei ala Torah.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu michol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
That was very good. I was going to do it.
Okay. Lo tireh et chamor achicha o shoro. No, oops. I went too far down. Lo tireh et shor achicha. You could see where I got confused. O et seyu nidachim v'hitalamta mehem. You may not see the ox of your brother or his sheep going astray and remain aloof from it, remain indifferent from it. Heshev teshevim la'achicha. You absolutely must return it to your brother. Ve'im lo karov achicha alecha v'lo yidato. And if your brother is not close to you or you do not know him, and that's how we know brother doesn't just mean relative. Vasafto el toch beitcha vaya imcha ad derosh achicha oto v'heshivato lo. And you can bring it into your home with you until your brother comes to look for it, and then you return it to him. V'chein ta'aseh lechamoro, v'chein ta'aseh lesimlato, v'chein ta'aseh lechol avedat achicha asher toved mimeno. You should do this with his donkey. You should do this with his outfit, or you should do it with any lost item that your brother has lost. Umatzata lo, and that you find it. Lo tuchal lihitalem. Do not remain indifferent.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chai olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. With the Torah open before us, we know that God is listening close to our words. So we take a moment to offer a mishaberach of healing for those in our community, those in our lives who need our prayers tonight. From our CBT community, we are thinking especially of Heather Artunian, Larry Dratch, David Gadol, Joan Lerner, Lauren Lewis, Joel Rosen, Kathy Zenchak, Aviva bat Moralea, Chayalea bat Miriam, Miriam bat Ventura Mazel, Sarah Rivka bat Nisan, Shifra Le bat Duba Leba, Esther Malka Chana bat Batya Ruth, Belville Moshe ben Maraleah. Are there any other names for Misha Berach this evening? The ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikor habracha. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. May those whose names we say aloud and those whose names we type in the chat and those whose names remain on our hearts be blessed with complete healing as we say together, Amen. We are going to continue with Hagbah and Galila, with holding and dressing the Torah. Kathy and Steve Gilbert, will you come and dress the Torah for us in honor of your anniversary this week? And as the Torah is lifted, we invite you all to please rise. Ta page 282. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. We remember the holy martyrs of every age of Jewish memory, from the Crusade to the Inquisition, from the English expulsion to the Russian pogroms, from the destruction of the Temple in Jerusalem to the destruction of communities in the Holocaust. We remember those who have given their lives in defense of our nation and in defense of the state of Israel. We also take to heart the 437 Americans who lost their lives this week to gun violence. As we remember them all, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death, perhaps choosing one of the meditations on page 288 and following, or whichever words the heart may prompt. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. The CBT community, we are observing Shloshim for Linda Mason. We are also commemorating the Yahrzeit, remembering the death, those whose anniversary of their death falls this week: Abraham Adler, Muriel Dora Alswang, Irene Baker, Earl H. Blevis, Carol Danger, Clarence Danger, Lillian Daniels, William Fleischman, Leonard Fruchter, Sylvia Gulak, Leonard Halprin, Martin Horowitz, Libby Isaac, Joseph, Leon Kessler, Barry R. Levin, Sidney Levin, Dorothy Matthews, Florence Perlman, Irene Rudder, Abe Salzberg, David L. Schechter, Rivka Shamuni, Teresa Terry Simons, Patricia I. Steinberg, Irving Aaron Weinstock, Irving Willis, Charlotte Winokur. Are there any other names for Kaddish this evening? The memories of all of them are with us. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as we rise as one community to lend strength to our mourning friends and to rise for those who have no one to stand for them. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 294. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah be'alma di v'ra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Shmei Rabbah Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shmeid kudusha le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabbah min shmaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Oseh shalom bimromav, huya aseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all the world, to which we say. Amen. You may be seated.
Good evening. I'm Nancy Danger, and I'm representing your board of directors. I'd like to thank Catherine Klein for her, as usual, awesome piano playing, and yay, 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 and Rabbi Young for his. Okay. There's one thing I want to bring to your attention in your little pink announcements. Tomorrow is the beach day and Havdalah. Starts at 11 o'clock, and it's at Huntington State Beach. Just in case you're confused, like I was, it says Newland Ramada A. Ramada is not the Ramada Inn. It's not the hotel. It's straight down Newland, and apparently Ramada is a shelter. So everything is going to be under a shelter this time. I hear it's pretty cool. I've never been down there, but I hear it's pretty cool. So yeah, it starts at 11 o'clock and should be pretty easy to find. Parking is adjacent to the shelter, so that shouldn't be a problem. And that's it. Shabbat Shalom.
I am geographically challenged, and I found it on a map, so you can too. They're right by the volleyball nets, and if you go down, apparently if you go down Newland, eventually it becomes water. So you just go straight down Newland, and that's where they are. So good luck to us all. We're going to do Havdalah at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. So those of you who watch Havdalah online, we will be online only if we can find someone technologically savvy enough to let us do so, and it'll be at 7, not 8. So good luck to you as well. If you turn to page 343, there's a little song that you may or may not know called Oseh Shalom. So we're going to sing that and then do Kiddush and Motzi. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al Yisrael, Shmei Tevel ve'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al Yisrael, ve'al Shmei Tevel. Please remember to return your shakers when you leave the sanctuary, and it's okay to put them all in one basket. We are going to rise for Kiddush and Motzi. Oops. Almost your turn, sorry. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim B'Shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Now it's your turn. Okay, pretend to touch the challah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. You can come and take a piece of this or grab your very own to-go neg challah in the lobby.